Hello, everyone. We welcome you all to yet another episode of Thoughtful Leaders at the platform of Collegedunia.com. So, today we have with us Mr. Manish Thakur, who is the Dean of New Initiatives and External Relations at IIM Calcutta. He was a professor at the Public Policy and Management Group, Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. Previously, he was a lecturer in sociology at Goa University from 1997 to 2007 and a fellow at the Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla from 2011 to 2013. He has published more than 30 research papers in professional journals and edited volumes. He has also authorized or edited 3 books: Indian Village, A Conceptual History in 2014, The Quest for Indian Sociology, Radha Kamal Mukherjee and Our Times in 2014, and Management Education in India, Perspectives and Practices, co-edited in 2017. His published research deals and disclosure with aspects of water resources management, rural development, knowledge of institutions and discourses, research policy interface, political culture, place of sociology in management education, social movements, intellectual history, and indigenous theories. His areas of research interest are rural agrarian sociology, economic sociology, and disciplinary practices. Dr. Thakur is the recipient of 3 prestigious awards: Dr. V.K.R.V. Rao Award in Social Sciences in Sociology 2014, Institute of Social and Economic Change, Bengaluru, and Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi, Professor M.N. Srinivas Memorial Award for Young Sociologist 2007 by Indian Sociological Society, and Professor Radha Kamal Mukherjee Memorial Award for Young Social Scientist in 2002 by Indian Social Science Association. We welcome you, sir, today on our platform.
Thank you.
Okay, so when we talk about this brief history of yours that you had been associated with various research and also with various colleges. So also you have held key positions at various educational institutes throughout your professional career. So what are the key factors that you think that has kept you connected with this education sector?
No, I started my career by teaching in a university. And from there, I moved to IIM Calcutta some 14 years back. I came here in 2007. And once you are a faculty member, and some of our IIMs, as you know, they are generally faculty governed institutes. So it means that faculty members have to shoulder certain administrative responsibilities. That's also part of our job, apart from teaching and research, we also have to do academic administration. So over the years, I have done my own bit of academic administration. And when the institute had its search committee, and just 3-4 months back, they asked me to take up this new assignment as Dean, New Initiatives and External Relations. I thought this would be my humble bit to contribute to the institutional growth and well-being. So that's it.
Okay, this is really interesting. I mean, you have been associated with this teaching sector for a very long time. I guess that's the reason that you have achieved a lot in your career as of now. So also being the Dean of IIM Calcutta, so what do you think is your philosophy of leadership, and how do you think you can describe your leadership style?
I would say I would invoke 2-3 terms to describe, as you very interestingly asked me, my philosophy of leadership. I think in any academic institution, the leadership has to go for a set of values. And for me, these values are collegiality, transparency, and being democratic in nature to the extent possible. Go for consensual decision making on different aspects of the institution. And also, just to add, that I look at IIM, or for that matter, any academic institution, as as an institution where ideas should flourish, where there should be exchange of ideas, exchange of arguments, exchange of different points of view. So any institution which fosters and nourishes these different types of exchanges of ideas and arguments, that institution would be contributing to, for me, I am using an old term, to this nation building exercise. So I think in a very brief way, these are some of the things that I keep in mind while discharging my duties to the extent possible.
Okay, so when we talk about the higher management people who are associated with any college, so the basic thing is that how can they benefit the students more from their plans that or the courses that they provide. So how do you think you can strategize about the key programs and plans for the entire administration of your college?
See, we have certain processes already in place, and I think any academic institution which wants to go or which wants to be in tune with the changing times may have or will have to put these processes in place. Like in all our academic programs committees, we have representatives from different stakeholders. So let's talk about our flagship program, that is MBA, Masters in Business Administration. So we have an MBA committee, and in that committee, we have 4 what we call MBA representatives. Who are they? They are the ones who are doing this program. So every month we have this meeting, and they are the ones who bring to the committee the challenges they face, the problems with the classroom, problems with the new technology, or whatever, whatever ideas, maybe some problems with some set of courses, the need for curriculum review, etc., etc. So what I would say that somehow we have to keep the channels of dialogue alive. And for that, we have to have different processes in place. And you must be knowing that IIM Calcutta is the oldest IIM in the country. It was established in 1961. And now this year is its Diamond Jubilee year. So given the fact that it's the oldest IIM, we have these processes in place, and most of our activities are largely, driven by the young people like you. So in that sense, we give them administrative support, we will give them money, we will allot them, they will give us an estimate. But they are the ones who take the lead. And when they take the lead, generally they are very successful in whatever they do. But we are there just to give them support. So that way, they also develop their leadership, techniques and things like that. I hope I could answer your question. Yeah.
Oh, sure, sir, definitely. Okay, so looking at also the education system that is in India as compared to the foreign countries, so they are structured very differently. What pattern we follow in India is very different from what education pattern is being followed in the foreign countries. So in your experience, what can an inbound student gain from studying here in your institute, IIM Calcutta?
You mean the foreign ones coming to IIM Calcutta?
Yeah, when students from any foreign and they come to pursue any course over here.
Yeah, they do come. In fact, we have exchange programs with, if I remember, some 74 institutions abroad. And then also, just as a matter of fact, IIM Calcutta, you can Google later, is the only institution from this country which is a member of what we call SAMES. SAMES, CEMS, it's a Global Alliance in Management Education. So from India, IIM Calcutta is the only member institution out of 34 member institutions from different parts of the globe. So we do have these exchange programs where, different countries, they send their, at least for a term, they don't come to do the entire program, but under the exchange agreement, they come for one term, that is the 10 weeks. We have this trimestral system, that 3 terms in an academic year and all that. So the first thing is that if you look at management education globally, diversity is the key term. So every institution is trying to, privilege, encourage this idea of diversity. So your campus becomes diverse. You have different types of cultural, linguistic, ethnic groups. So imagine a situation where someone is talking in French, someone is talking in Italian, someone is talking in Bangla, someone is talking in Tamil. So the learning takes place not merely in the classroom. It also takes place among the peers, among the interaction that we have among the peers. So you do a project. So one person is from France, another person is from Germany, third person is from Chile in Latin America, and then two of them are from our vast country, Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra. So it's a diverse, so this I would say, what in managerial language we call this cross-cultural leadership, this ability to work in diverse settings, learning, etc. etc. Yeah.
That was quite interesting to know. Okay, so when we come to the curriculum for IIM Calcutta, it's no doubt the curriculum has been designed in a very well structure. So how do you think you can ensure the best practices in the industry to keep the students upgraded or to keep them according to the industry standard?
For that, see, there is something called internship. Any management institution has internship. So after first year, all of them go for summer internship. So internship is one of the well-established ways of connecting with the the goings on in our times in the industry. So that you are updated, you have hands-on experience. So internship is one of the ways to have this ongoing connect between the needs or the demands of the industry or the new types of the cutting edge challenges that we face and the curriculum. That's one. Secondly, I think you should also keep in mind that we have a vast network of alumni, and our alumni work in different industries. I'm not talking of the icons who have made it big in different sectors. Forget the icons. There is a tendency these days that everyone wants to project the achiever. I am not going to do that. Not going to say that, look, Ramchandra Guha was our alum, or Indira Nui was our alum, or Ajit Balakrishnan was our alum, or Airtel CEO was our alum. I'm not going to name them. But our alumni, they also come and they are happy to come and contribute to our classroom experience. So we have a system of what we call the visiting faculty. So suppose if I am teaching a course, and my course has 20 classes, as a teacher, without any hassle, I can call you or someone from industry for 4 lectures. And I can call them for more lectures with some approval. But 4 lectures, look at the ratio. So 4 out of 20. So 20, and that's meant essentially for that industry connect. Is that okay? That's one.
Sir, I guess if you can kindly shift the camera.
Okay, sorry. Can you?
Yeah. This is
there?
Yeah.
In the right camera? Okay.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. Is there any insight that you would like to provide about how your institution can be more welcoming to students of various races or economic backgrounds, like you did talk about the diversity? So what is the university doing to ensure that this keeps happening in a near future as well?
By going for MOU, this memorandum of understanding with new institutions, by going through the processes of accreditation. These days all good institutions, they have to go through international accreditation. So we have gone through these accreditations, and this entire experience of going through accreditation brings in this need for internationalize your practices, curricular practices, your academic practices and all that, because you get points for that how diverse, how international your faculty members are, your other stakeholders are. So this is the big thing these days for any academic institution. So we already have some of these things in place. But see, we can't simply go out of the way. So I will slightly try to modify your question. We are a public institution, remember. So we have to cater to those who are here in India And of course, we are not against those who come from outside, but we can't say that, look, these days we take 480 for our MBA, that we will only take 60 for Indians and whatever 20 of them would come from foreign countries. That we cannot do, we cannot afford to do, and in my view, we should not be doing. So I would urge you that let's look at this idea of internationalization with more care, so that we do not get lost in the process, where our USP gets lost. That's what I would say.
Well, I wasn't aware that for this diversity, you get this different points as well for the institution.
Yes, you have.
Okay, so as we see from the perspective of being the dean of such a renowned institute, what according to you are your roles and responsibilities towards the students as well as for the institution?
See, the overall responsibility is this ambiguous term, what we call the institutional well-being. Our main responsibility is to ensure that things move the way they should move. There is no bottleneck. There is no unnecessary disruptive activity. So like COVID-19 came. So what is our job as a leadership team? To ensure that whatever way, with whatever external constraints we have, we should ensure that our academic programs go on. So this is the job that we have. And also to maintain the quality and the rigor that we have historically inherited, that there is no dilution of our quality, there is no dilution of what we deliver in terms of academic contents or training. Or we also do a lot of training. See, it's not only MBA, we also do not many management development programs for those who are working, for the working professionals. So whatever we do, we should always try to aspire for excellence, and we should keep it moving in that direction. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, when we talk about any institution that has come a long way since its establishment and has, like I said, dignified name in the entire India. So obviously there might be something that the institution plans for the next 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. So keeping the position where IIM Calcutta stands currently, what do you think should be the institution's top priority over the next 10 years to maintain that thing, or based on the students' perspectives as well?
Yeah, so I will tell you, in fact, good that you asked me that question. In fact, right now, we all, as an institute, are engaged in a planning exercise for next 5 years. So we are doing that. Maybe within a month, we will have the document ready. It has gone through many rounds of iteration and reiteration. We are going to conclude very soon. So, and we are looking for next 5 years. So, right now, we look at different aspects, and I will give you one illustration. So we have come to, I don't know whether you have ever come to IIM Calcutta campus. It's a lush green campus with plenty of lakes. It will give you that feel of being in the midst of nature. But now we have realized that our campus infrastructure, I mean hostels, the buildings for classrooms or the faculty office and all that, they have reached a point of saturation. So if we suppose go for bigger numbers, suppose if our MBA number is 480, if we want to make it 100 more, we don't have enough hostel rooms. So our entire focus for next 5 years is to give them a better quality of life in the campus. So we are going to have massive, we have gone for a massive campus development plan. And Hafiz Contractor, a well-known architect, has given us a blueprint. And we are going to spend something like 1,900 crores over the next few years to remodel the campus and give it a new contemporary look. So I'm sure that if the campus infrastructure develops, it also helps everyone and they get a better quality of life. And then there are other things, since you are mainly focusing on the experience of those who come to do MBA. I'm not telling you other things like we have our own ideas about how to do innovative research, how to publish in prestigious journals, how to develop our trading portfolio, etc., etc.
Okay, like you mentioned that at this in the beginning itself that due to COVID, these classes are being conducted online. Still, a few of the students have been brought back to the campus, around 900, I guess, what you mentioned.
Yes.
So, but still, there is a vast difference between the classes that was conducted offline and what's conducted online. In the campus, there is a peer-to-peer learning. There is a bond between the faculty and the students, and also like various projects that the management students work upon, like when they do it in groups, when they do it in the classrooms, activities that are conducted. But these things get lost when the classes are conducted online. So, how do you think the institution is trying to modify the curriculum or modify the learning structure to help the students benefit the most, even if it is conducted online, even if they are missing out on various things that they used to earlier?
Okay. Part of the answer you have already given, that by bringing them to the campus, at least we are giving them all other opportunities except that 1.5 hours or whatever classroom duration. Okay. And then, the online platforms also that we have these days, at least they give you the options. I'm not saying online and offline is one and the same experience, but there also you have, someone can participate virtually. Then you can break them out in different groups. You can call them back. You can show them videos and all that. So with technological that way, I would say we have technological choices to minimize the experience of online classroom. So it's not going to be merely an onerous task. So attending an online class, of course, it could be taxing at times. You could develop fatigue all the time you are in front of a camera or a computer and all. But we can partially, I'm not saying that, there is no difference, partially address some of the challenges. And we have done that. Like, see our readings. Earlier, we used to give them handouts, compiled course pack, what we would call. They will come and we will distribute. Now we upload them in our course web. They have access to all the reading material we have overnight. We have, in a way, learned how to do it online. Everything is, readings are online. Everything is online and online. And then, in a way, it has also helped us that many possibilities that we never thought are there earlier when we were in offline. Now we know, even if we go back to offline, we know that some of these online possibilities can be used. But this is not a question of online and offline, because this is not our choice. So I just want to say that, look, as a public institution, we cannot have online classes unless there is a categorical directive from Ministry of Education that we can open in a normal way. So unless there is an instruction, and right now we are living under Corona restrictions, even if we want, we cannot do that. Is that okay? We can't do that.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so when you first came to this institution, like you might be having some vision, like towards the students as well as towards the university or the institution. So just wanted to ask that how has it evolved over time? Like what stages did it cross when you joined and currently what you are serving at? So how has it evolved over time, and how far along in implementing that vision you are still in, or how do you plan to modify that with the change of time?
See, good that you have used the term evolution. See, everything's evolve as you grow. You grow in terms of experience, you grow in terms of wisdom. Hopefully, with age, wisdom comes. But more importantly, you also grow through your interactions with different types of people. So I place much value on the last type of interaction. That's see, every batch that I teach brings in a new type of, ideas, new type of, they have different types of dreams and all. So with every batch, you grow as a teacher. So I may have taught 14 batches of MBA. So imagine, so I have interacted in a way with 14 roughly multiplied by 400, so many of them. And they also at times drop in, they also chit chat with you, they talk to you. Some of them you know personally, some of them you know in a way not so personally. But so one is that your classroom experience itself is a way of learning to interaction, and more importantly, you learn from your colleagues. See, when I came to Calcutta, I had heard so much about IIM Calcutta, its history, its glory, its tradition. And remember, IIM Calcutta was located in the city called Calcutta, which was known as a city with very vibrant cultural life, intellectual life, with its own tradition of learning, and very vibrant public activities of theater, art, culture, cinema, all those things. So IIM was not merely a place where you just go and get your MBA degree and just go home. It was also a place where you partake of some of the vibrancy that that city had to provide. So when I talk to our alumni now, they just do not merely say what they learned, which course they did. They would narrate different types of experiences that they had, how they went to Chorangi, how they went to this place to eat kebab, or where they went for this, momo and things like that. So you have to look at it in that thing, and you also evolve through your interaction with, we have board of governors, BOG. We are governed by a board which has prominent people in it, so you have to interact with them. They bring some ideas to table. You interact with them. You respond to those ideas. So I would suggest that in any good institution, it's not one person's leadership or one person's idea that should matter. Ideally, idea or the blueprint or the plan that we have, that should be collective in nature, and in that way it would be more sustainable. Because I may have some idea, and if you don't like that idea, you will not give your heart and soul to it. But if two of us together agree on something, then you will also put in your efforts and I will also put in my efforts, and then things will move faster. Sorry, can't hear you. Voice, can't hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry, it was muted. Okay. When we talk about any institution, so that has come a very long way, along with the glories that it has seen. So there might also be some challenges that the institution has faced or is currently facing. So I want to know about some of the biggest challenges that your institution is facing, and how do you think the institution is trying to cope with that, both for the higher education in general and for the institution as well?
Well, that's okay. That one is, I would say, one challenge that is common to all academic institutions, though, as of now, as we are talking, is this COVID-19, the challenge, and to keep the academic life going despite all these constraints. So that's a general challenge. It's not unique to IIM Calcutta. Other challenge is that, I would suggest that maybe at times what happens that you have this sort of lack of convergence between what you call leadership, since we have been talking about leadership and all that, what you call leadership and the other stakeholders. So there could be some lack of convergence or divergence. So that challenge every institution has to face. So you have to keep persuading them. You have to build consensus. So if there is no consensus about the plan or the blueprint, then that institution is likely to suffer. So that's why I generally use a Sanskrit expression. I don't know, a bit of Sanskrit. It's a simple word called Bahu Sruta. Bahu means many, Sruta means someone. So a leader has to be Bahu Sruta, means he or she should listen to different points of view. That is the meaning of Bahusruta. Bahu means many. So it's not that I should only listen to things that I would like to hear. I should even also pay attention to those people who may not be in agreement with my ideas, who may have different points of view, who may have counter arguments. So taking them along with you is the biggest challenge. And how do you do that? You can't issue fatwas. We live in a very civilized society. So we have to keep engaging them in a dialogue, persuade them intellectually, morally, or through your commitment and devotion to the institute.
Okay. So when we talk about the challenges, also then also I would like to know what is the institution's greatest strength, that something that institution banks upon.
I would say it's the culture that any institution evolves over the years. And I will talk about IIM Calcutta in particular because the way now I have spent 14 years here. So it's a culture where you do not look at the institution as merely a workplace. You get, emotionally entangled with the institute. So I will give you this idea. You might have heard that Amphan. What is that called? Amphan or something had come and it had disrupted the life in Bengal. What was the name of that? What is that called? That where the trees got uprooted. There was, lots of different types of devastation and all that. So suppose, IMC campus, because of that, so some of the trees got uprooted. So all faculty members next morning have started writing the email that we should not let these old trees go. We have to make sure that we do something so that can we replant a 60-year-old tree. So if you are indifferent and neutral, why would you bother where your workplace has 1 tree or 2 or 3? So this sense of belonging, this sense of ownership, this sense of emotional connect, where you feel that if something good happens to the institute, you are also a beneficiary, or the vice versa. I think this is the ideal situation. And, and to reach that ideal is the challenge. And some institutions have managed this. And if they have managed this successfully, that would be their strong point. I think this is what you had asked me. Yeah.
Okay, so as we come to the end of this interview, one thing that I would like to ask is any suggestion or any guidance that you would like to give to the current youth or the aspiring students for MBA, or especially who are willing to, look for IIM Calcutta for a career, better career. So any suggestion that you would like to provide?
I do that when I generally interview them for their admissions into MBA. I have a feeling, and I may be wrong, but since new generation is more resourceful. Resourceful means you have access to different types of things. When I was growing up, I could not have Googled something. Now, whatever in a new term, you can simply Google and get an idea. So I would suggest that, if possible, try to have less reliance on Google and Wikipedia and not to go for shortcuts. Even now, reading matters. Whether you read holding a book in your hand or read online, that's okay. That's up to you. So it's important to read whatever is your area of interest. I'm not saying you read this. It's important to think that you are not like a Trishanku. A Trishanku is a creature which is somewhere hanging between the earth and the heaven. So you are part of a larger community, society, nation. And some of them tell me that they don't even read the newspapers. So if you don't read papers, how do you know what is happening around you? So you can't afford to be so aloof from the going-ons, in your surroundings, in your country. So if Taliban has taken over Afghanistan, you might have heard, you can't lead a happy life with all your money in Kabul. So if something worse happens to this country, with all your money, with all your credentials, with all your MBA degree, with all your good jobs, you will also suffer. So it's important that we all should take some interest, enlightened interest in what happens around us. That's the only advice, since you have sought it, I can give.
Okay, so with this, we come to the end of this interview, but I guess the suggestions or the insights that you have provided, not just for the IIM Calcutta, but for the entire education curriculum as well, for to the students as well. So I guess this is going to help the students quite a lot while they seek to move towards higher education, or they see forward to IIM Calcutta. Okay. So thank you so much, sir, for your time and effort for being with us. And we hope to look forward to this again.